So it's a requirement of the job.
Hard work too.
Yeah, it's an honor to do it, and I'm glad that 3 years.
Well, that's the only reason you did it. You look like the most, and I don't think that was an act. You were so reluctant.
Oh yeah. Because I knew what it involved, and I love being Ways and Means Chair. It's a great job, and it's a job that you can have a really good family work-life balance. Speaker's a little different story. Absolutely honored to have this job.
I could guilt you into.
See, the people use Captain Guilt to get me this job in the first place.
But I could guilt you into that you're not done on entitlement, so we need.
No, that's the one
your
thing.
Voice.
So
tax reform, but we need your voice.
So obviously, tax reform, regulatory relief, rebuilding the military. We're about to do some workforce development issues that I think are really good for labor market supply. Entitlement reform is the one thing that I've been working on pretty much my whole life. I'm really proud of the fact that every term since I was budget chair, we've passed budgets in the House that balance the budget, that reform entitlements, that pay down the debt. We passed the biggest entitlement reform bill in the history of Congress, of the country, in the House last year. It failed by a vote in the Senate. I hate the fact that that happened. But here in the House, we've done our work. We still got a lot more to do. And it really is entitlements, and it's healthcare entitlements we have to get under control. But there comes a time when you're at a stage in life where you have to make these kinds of decisions. And that's the decision I made. And what I didn't want to do is run for re-election knowing I wasn't going to stay another full term and basically be dishonest with everybody and then hang it up right after the election, which is what the political people say you should do. I'm just not a political person. I'm a policy person, and I just didn't want to do that.
We've had a lot of discussion. I really do think you're like a choir boy. You're so straight-laced about everything. So I understand that Trump might at times be a different type of person.
He used to call me a Boy Scout. But
you are a Boy Scout. Okay. So I understand the times where you've chafed or he's chafed, or I understand that relationship, but I think you had a good word.
Very much so, yeah.
But who writes the piece that you're leaving because you don't want to deal with Trump anymore?
It really isn't. That it really isn't.
Well, where do they get that? Did they cite us? Is that
people who don't like Trump say this?
Is that fake news?
Yes, it's fake news.
That is fake news.
Yeah, of course.
Because I read that article.
Yeah, no.
But it sounds on the surface to be plausible.
Look at what his election got us. It got us finally a unified government.
So you categorically denied it just had anything to do with him to deal with President.
I'm grateful that he has given us this chance with his election to do fundamental tax reform that is a long time in coming that finally got done. Look at the regulatory relief. Look at what the oil and gas industry is doing now that we've lifted the ban on exporting crude oil. Look at all the LNG platforms that are being built. Look at all the fracking that's occurring. ANWR now is back online. We've been trying to get ANWR, the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, for 37 years. America is now going to be the dominant energy producer in the world. We are putting OPEC to the side. Why? Because Donald Trump got elected president with a Republican Congress, and look what's happening. That's just one sector. The Permian Basin that was done in Midland, Texas a little while ago, they have discovered.
Don't forget to subscribe.
That are as big as the Saudi oil field in just this part of Texas. Why? Now we have this great opening. So I'm just saying one sector of the economy has been unlocked. There are many other sectors. Our Dodd-Frank reform and replace bill moving its way through Congress.
See you again. I mean,
so what I'm trying to say is he's given us this incredible opportunity to get a lot of good things done. And that's why I'm excited about it.
You're 48.
I'm 48 years old.
You're in your late 20s now. So now
I came into Congress when I was 20 years old.
Yeah, it looks like
I've been here 20 years. I'm like one of the old bulls around here. Isn't that kind of funny?
Well, 48 is.
But you're young.
I know. So that's the other point. Is I've been here 20 years.
What else will you run for?
You never say never to those things, but not anytime soon.
Wait a second, that's the same answer I've heard you give 7 times. So what are you?
But I have no intention of running for anything. My kids are now at that age where you have teenagers. You guys, well, you don't. Yeah, yours are still pretty young.
I do.
How old are they?
15's the oldest.
Okay, 15's the oldest. So when you never see them and you only have Sunday night dinners and Sunday morning mass, it gets to you after a while. It's just what it is.
So is McCarthy going to be? Is he going to take Nancy Pelosi's job, or is he going to take your job?
No, he's going to take my job, not Nancy Pelosi's job. Sure. Why? Yeah, because I feel really good about it.
Is it going to be McCarthy?
Yeah, I think it should be McCarthy, and I think it will be. And I think that's after the term. Look, the last thing we want to do is have disruption of leadership elections in the middle of a term right now. And also, there's so much more we can do to run through the tape. We've got to do our vocational, educational, technical education bill. We've got to do getting people from welfare to work. We've got infrastructure bills. More regulatory relief. We've got our Dodd-Frank reforms. So we've got more things that we're going to run through the tape and get done. And then we're going to go to the voters and show what a big difference. Look at today is tax day. The average family of 4 is getting a $2,000 tax cut because of the tax bill. This is the last year of this old tax code. And now you have a new year of lower tax rates, doubling the standard deduction, doubling the child tax credit, a simplified system. These are good things. People know it. People see it. And they know that having this unified Republican government is making a big positive
What
difference
do you
in our
say to people that say you ought to leave now because you can't raise money to the same?
Well, the answer is I am, and I can, and there's a lot more we can do. And
There's no way you
No,
can listen to that.
they say that-
Well, actually,
They say
most
you
of our
should
members,
now
the
and
vast
let-
majority of our members say don't leave. There's so much more you can do. We want continuity. We don't want to have
Not lame
disrupting leadership elections in the middle of this. And by the way, there's a whole lot more I could do. I've raised $54 million for our
work
party
anywhere.
since
Right.
the first of the term here, and I can raise a whole lot more.
Let me ask one question. We're talking about news stories and whether they're true or not. Yesterday, I read a Politico story that suggested that your relationship with Kevin McCarthy, which is very tight, has been strained by your decision to stay because that leaves
Full.
7 months.
Total
Fake news?
Fake news. Absolute fake news. Especially that particular article.
Read
Total fake
Politico,
news.
Becky, really?
Yeah.
But
Look, I don't want to slam newspapers or anything
stopped
like that.
following,
It's just, and he and I were joking about it last night.
you were.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is
Yeah, we're
committed
very
front.
close. He's my partner.
What happens, because your party has been a difficult one to wrangle, as most parties are. You do have the Freedom Caucus saying,
Right.
look, we don't like the budget deal that was just cut. We don't like the spending that was in it, that was granted to the Democrats to get their votes on
Right.
board.
So-
what does that, what happens to your
We
party?
are more unified than we have been in a long, long time. Look at all the stuff. We've passed over 500 bills here in the House since the first of this term. Unfortunately, about 400 of them are still sitting in the Senate. We've had the most productive Congress, House of Representatives, in decades because of all the bills we passed. The reason we've been able to pass all these bills is because we've been unified. I came in a fractured, disunified caucus in 2015. We're so much more unified now. That's one of the reasons why I'm comfortable going, because we have come together as a team. We've gelled. We put together an agenda in 2016. We ran on it, and now we're executing that agenda. We're 2/3 of the way through getting it all done in law. So we've gotten so much of our work done. And because we're gelled, because we have a great leadership team that can have seamless transfer, that's why I feel comfortable doing this. Something that I just feel obligated to do at this phase of life that I'm in. And I'm happy. Look, I've gotten almost all that I want done. The only thing is the healthcare entitlements. But look, enterprise zones, I worked on that when I was a young guy working for Jack Kemp. Empowerment zones are now law of the land. So the critical component of our poverty fighting agenda, that's now the law of the land. Rewriting the tax code, I've been working on that all my life. That's not the law of the land. All the regulatory relief that we think are important to unlocking capital, law of the land. So and by the way, the military, when you become speaker, you get the same briefings the president gets. You get the same intelligence committee, military briefings. So I became really acutely concerned about the state of our military and its readiness crisis. So I really took to that issue, and now that is the law of the land. So we've gotten so many of the things done that I sought out to do that I feel very content with the achievements. And now I just have this focus on making sure that, I can do the other really important parts of my life job, which is family, my husband, being a good husband, being a good dad. And I feel like we've gotten a lot done, and I think we have a great team to pass the baton on to.
The economy, as usual, should be what dictates midterms and the presidential election. The generic polling narrowed again. It's gone back and forth.
That's right.
But still, the polling on the tax bill still not. If listening to you, it should be 80%. It's still 30%.
Yeah, I think it's going to get there. Here's my point. You said the generic ballot is at a good place. So if the election were today, we'd keep the majority according to the generic ballot.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought-
If you're down 3 or 4, we're gonna
3 or 4 is keep it.
we'll totally keep it. There's that one poll. I think it's your poll. It's an MSNBC or CNBC
I
poll.
think it was a Wall Street Journal, NBC.
Yeah, right. You look inside that poll, they say, who do you think is the best to run the economy? Republicans. I really believe as the election gets closer and we're communicating more specifically with constituents who see that because of this tax bill, they got their bonuses, they got increased benefits, they got an average $2,000 tax cut. When people look and see, oh, the child tax credit got doubled, my standard deduction got doubled, my tax rates went down.
On last year's taxes, no one's seeing it.
Yeah, what if that
That's
comes-
why
what
I
if
think
it
the
comes in
bonuses
your-
made a big difference. But when they see this is what is coming, this is what is happening, and you've got millions of bonuses that have been paid out, and our ability to communicate specifically with constituents in this digital age is very, very good. So I'm convinced we're going to be able to communicate the benefits of this tax law to people this fall. So not only do they right now say they want Republicans in charge of the economy because the economy is growing well, not only do they want to say that the Republicans are in charge of national security because they're better entrusted to keep us safe, and we have good polls right now, I feel confident we can keep this majority. What's
Okay, that's my mom. I gotta go.